the original conversation that started off this North Pole, South Pole stuff?
So, Terry, is the Earth a globe?
Is that in relation to the North Pole?
Is the Earth a globe, Terry?
I don't know, is it?
I'm asking you.
Oh, I'm doing the same tactic you did. We asked you questions and you won't answer simple questions.
So you're not sure?
No, I'm not going to answer.
So you're not going to answer? Okay. Well, I'll remember that.
Do you want to address the claim that...
No, fuck off. Fuck off. Go answer your own question.
I only asked
you just ignore every question you've been asked.
Yeah, I'm only asking you. You're currently talking, bro. But like any other flat earther can try to answer. But the point remains that I said he avoided it. Everybody avoids it. We didn't have to move on from that. I mean, KIMO's here. Crit. Rakia.
I'm here. I'm fighting for my life right now in text chat. I'm about to get a 24-hour ban, so I might not be here for much longer.
Why don't you just not respond? Why don't you just not respond to text chat, man?
Because I want to follow the spiral all the way to the bottom, and once the trigger happens, then we can learn and grow from there. This is your conversation.
That's a very strange thing to focus on, man.
No, because I'm not in control here. This is your guys' server. Wherever you want to take it, wherever you want to take it, I will follow your lead. If it results in a triggering,
you have absolute control, my man.
No control at all.
This is your.
You guys have got the dance card here. You guys got the dance card. This is your lead. I'm just following your lead.
All right, Kosher.
That's all it is.
I'm not into the drama, man.
Yeah, this is your rodeo.
Chris,
this is my rodeo.
I'm not into the drama, dude.
You asked me why I respond. What am I supposed to do? What, just not respond?
No, stop responding to text chat.
That's the other thing that's hilarious too. Like you get all these people all day long just spamming text chat, trying to make it completely impossible to add any sort of value to the VC by posting
just
images.
Block whoever it is you need to block, okay? But stop bringing it up to me. I'm not interested in the drama in the text chat.
Okay? No, I'm saying you told me I was here. I said I might not be here for much longer. Just so you know.
I heard that part. So I'm gonna ask you this question quickly then.
Okay, go ahead.
Were you here when Grenade was bringing up that his test, and then we discussed how the 4 points could be 4 points on the equator, and how they would be different distances depending on if it was a flat Earth or a globe.
No, I only got here like right at the very end when there was all kind of yelling and everything, and then WITSIT got muted, and it appeared like he also got kicked due to his new arrival role. I actually got here right in the nick of time to actually see the CB meltdown.
I got you, man. Well, what I'll do is then I'll keep you up to speed. Okay, I posted the picture again. It's got the idea of what was being discussed, which is that on a flat plane, the equator is a circle. The radius of that circle is.
Kosher, are you ignoring?
Merle, hold on a second, man. I asked you this question a second ago, Merle. You didn't answer, so I'm talking to Crit real quick. But yeah, the distance between the North Pole and the equator and the circumference of the equator has a relationship on a circle, on a flat circle, and a different relationship on a spherical surface. So you can easily determine what those distances should be. If you know one, you should be able to figure out the other. And so,
Chaiki, just quickly, Kosher. Chaiki, look, WITSIT's posting the links for you in the chat box there. See?
None of them military.
Just letting you know, it's WITSIT's posting.
No, it's not what he said he will post. I read one of them.
So, Kosher, let's talk about 24901.
This guy believes the Earth is rotating. He doesn't believe it's stationary.
Right. So, Kosher, let's talk about
Chris, we're staying on one subject, man. Yeah.
Let's talk about 24901. How did you get that?
Did you have more to say?
How did you get 24901?
In 5 days, it's going to be the spring equinox, right? That's when the sun is directly over the equator all day. Okay, it's 24 hours in a single day. 24 hours before it comes back to about the same spot, a little bit further north. But it's going to go in a circle. It takes 24 hours to do this. You can measure the distance that it takes in 1 hour. We know that it's 15 degrees longitude. All this stuff is easily measurable, and every degree of longitude is 111 kilometers along the equator. So it doesn't take much calculations and measurements to determine that that's what the equator is, 24,901.
It's the equator, 24901.
Check.
How'd you get
also,
that?
these lines are all imaginary. They don't exist.
I'm just
in
wondering
reality.
how you got 24901.
I just told you, bro.
So you got it from the sun.
You can use the sun, yeah, and it's gonna be the way in which you're gonna get the most accurate measurements for the longitude and the longitude lines.
So is it exact or is it an estimate?
I don't think that it's an estimate. I'm pretty sure it's they're split up equally.
So is that how you get the 8 inches per mile squared drop as well?
Sure. I mean, that's a derivation. It's not directly related to it, but yeah, sure.
Okay, and this is the last thing I'll ask you because this is what I came in with. So this one. So this.
Wait, what did you say?
I'm just putting this.
You dropped some acid, man?
No.
Wait, would you say you were whispering or something?
No, I'm here.
No, he said this. He said he put this and then this.
This.
Oh, the things you're posting, right? Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's right. This is a totally different test, though, Merle. That's something that, like I said, we can determine with the straight line, but nothing that we discussed just now about longitude lines and the equator. Nothing we discussed determines is related to those pictures you posted.
Well, it's going to call the 24901 into question, right?
Hey, do you guys want to read that paper that dismantles your religion?
But
No, I wanted the military paper. You promised.
Before you guys steamroll what I'm in the middle of, like, with all due respect, fuck you all right now. We're having a look at something. So we've got a square and a ruler, right? Now can we establish that they're straight lines?
Yes.
And there's no deviation?
I don't think the square's straight.
With the square and the ruler, there's no deviation, right?
The square's not square.
So when you can see the polystyrene, curve with the ruler on it, there's a drop, right?
That's right.
Right, so if you build a solid structure and you built it with a plumb, you built it square from the plumb, there would have to be a drop.
Wrong.
That's correct, Merle. But what about what sections? What size are the sections in any of these? I'll say a railroad.
Because it's assumed. These are assumed dimensions that you're inserting mathematically.
I'm just responding to what you just said though about this we make a straight thing. When you make a railroad or you make a bridge or something, you make them in sections.
No, I've got you guys on lock. I've had you guys on lock for a couple of years now because you can measure the water line. It can be measured. I don't think you guys realize that. You can measure it with a micrometer. And we can establish straight lines. We can get square. We can get plumb. We've got lasers. You're in real trouble now. Because we're talking about accuracy and precision, and critical thinking is coming for the lie. Do you really want to do this? Because it's coming.
That's why we're doing the, like I said, GPS RTK. So
No. You ain't doing shit. It's gonna like get practical, demonstratable with the substances of the earth. This is where it needs to go. Beyond rhetoric, beyond sophistry, beyond sophisticated argumentation and lies, we establish what's true with the substances themselves. Do we not?
No, that's fair. I know WITSIT's back, and he posted something with the monopole or.
Yeah, y'all said that I was making it up and that Harvard.
I just asked.
Wow, could have swore I was talking, dude.
No one said you made it up.
You interrupt every time, dude. And then as soon as I left, you bitched about how I was interrupting the whole time, which is patently false.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, you're gonna not interrupt me this
You've got
time?
a serious issue. Got to let people finish. Whatever they're saying, let them speak their minds. Whatever they want to say, right?
Well, you interrupted me all day, man. But go ahead.
So yeah, y'all were saying I made this up. I've dropped this same document to you, Kosho, about 5 times. I've also dropped the same document in this entire server like 10 times. But it says right there, 20% is non-dipole. So that means that they are trying to explain a 20% portion of the magnetic field on a globe Earth without it being a dipole. Thus, it is a monopole, which is purely theoretical. I linked the paper. They give you like 5 postulations. They're trying to figure out which one works the best because they cannot explain it. Also, the field axis is not aligned with the rotation axis assumed.
Fair enough. WITSIT, nobody said that you made it up. I just.
Do you agree that this doesn't work on your model?
WITSIT, I'm going to ask you for the same thing you just asked me for, and I gave it to you. So, but yeah, nobody claimed that you made it up. All I asked you for was for a source or where you read this from. Then you said you go to Stanford. Now you're posting it. It doesn't say anything about a monopole. It just says that it's a dipole, and it says 20% is not a dipole.
Yeah. So if it's not a dipole, what is it?
More than 2 fields or poles.
If it's not a dipole, what is it?
You're quoting people who believe the Earth is a sphere and that it rotates. How about you give people, scientists that are flat earthers?
Hey, it's called a hostile witness. So this is at the top tier of your side. Okay, this is Harvard trying to explain the magnetic field, and they say, "Wow!" Every time I get interrupted, every single time.
I was in the middle of talking and you interrupted me.
You said, "How about I get flat Earth scientists?" I said, "This is called a hostile witness." I'm using the top tier of your side. They admit that they can't explain the magnetic field on the globe Earth. This is because the field axis is not a. Wow. You just can't do it. Because you're getting this. You know that this right here alone refutes your entire religion, and that's why you have to spiral and interrupt.
He's super triggered right now.
Yep. You just asked me not to interrupt him. That's all he's saying.
Okay, so field axis is not aligned with the rotation axis assumed.
Okay, this guy believes it's not a hostile witness. This guy believes the Earth is a sphere, that it rotates.
That's why it's a hostile witness.
That believes the Earth is flat and doesn't rotate, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, so I'm going to try to respond and explain to you the remedial freaking principle here that seems to be eluding your cognitive grasp. When you use someone on the other side and you use their own concessions against them, that is called a hostile witness. This is Harvard. There you go. Interrupt me again.
Chris, just let him finish, man.
This is Harvard, an Ivy League school that's propped up at the top of the academia priesthood that you revere, and they're trying to explain the discrepancies within the assumption of the Earth being a ball that spins correlated to the magnetic field. One of the primary issues is that 20% of the field is a non-dipole when mapped out on the dynamo threshold, assuming the globe Earth. The other problem is that the field axis of the actual magnetic field that is observable, measurable, repeated thousands of times does not align with the assumed rotation axis.
It's not meant to, though.
It is meant to. That's why they're trying to explain it.
No, it's not meant to. It even reverses. And that's the problem.
Okay.
That's why they have the South Atlantic anomaly, and they have all these distortions in magnetic field, because it's not even a perfect magnetic field.
Okay, it says that the magnetic field is inconsistent whenever put beside the assumed rotation.
It's not as a perfect. It's not like a perfect magnet. It's like a, what do you call it? It's like a dynamic system. That's why it's called a dynamo. So it's
okay, dude, you're not listening. You're not listening. None of the field axis in the window of the fluctuation that you're claiming, none of it. Kosho, say it with me. None of it aligns with the assumption of axial rotation. None of it.
Why do you expect it to?
If the Earth's actually a globe, then you'd be able to explain one of the biggest phenomena on Earth, known as the magnetic field. It's 2021. People in here say that we're stupid because we don't know exactly where the sun is, but y'all can't even explain the magnetic field on the globe Earth with the help of millions of people, billions of dollars, and Ivy League schools.
Are you talking about? Hold on a second. The magnetic field on the Earth is a dynamic system, as I stated. The Earth is rotating, and what's it doing? It has the tilt that it does every 26,000 years. It's not a perfect spinning top.
Non sequitur.
So the object in the liquid core of the Earth is not going to be spinning in the perfect position that you're expecting it to be spinning in.
Oh, no. See, I'm not expecting anything. See, that was a non sequitur and a straw man. So it's very simple that your model claims that the centrifugal force based on the gravitational attraction of mass particles results in the dynamo threshold at the core, and that the magnetic field is relative to that being the central origin of it. So intrinsically within your globe Earth claim, you must invoke and explain the magnetic field, claiming it's the cause of the core's phenomena. So you don't get to just hand wave dismiss it, saying, I swear in 26,000 years it's going to change a little bit. Or in any of the window of fluctuation.
Hand wave dismissed it.
That's what
I explained why it's not expected.
And that you're what? No. It doesn't match up at all. The field axis is not aligned with the rotational axis because you claim the magnetic field is dependent upon the attraction of mass particles relative to the centrifugal force of axial rotation.
So you don't interrupt me to say it again.
Why don't you know your religion before you got on here and debated it every day?
Okay, I just told you. WITSIT. I just told you.
Keep looping the same.
We're trying to respond to you, WITSIT. I'm trying to respond to you. The Earth is already on an axis. Not only that, but the axis changes over time. Okay, the ball that's inside of the core of the Earth is inside of a liquid. Okay, there's nobody that's expecting it to be a perfect relationship when it's like molten metal. So there's reactions down there. There's seismic shit with the plate. Nobody is expecting a perfect spinning top with a perfect spinning ball inside of it, making a perfect.
I never said that. That's a straw man.
Then why are you saying? Why are you saying that?
God, Coach. You got this.
Then why are you saying? Then why are you saying that it's
because this paper goes over your head, Kosho.
Why are you saying that it's not a problem? That is a problem. That it's not aligned.
Okay, I'll explain it. So if you read the paper, they acknowledge. Literally, it's titled "The Problem." Okay, literally, Kosho's just a liar, and he knows that 50 people in here won't go read it because y'all don't actually research your belief system. Now, what the Harvard paper says, not what Kosho says, but what the Harvard paper says is that the fluctuation of movement, assuming this massive timeline, still does. This paper, 30 different papers from Yale, Stanford, Harvard, Berkeley, all explaining different postulations to try to explain the discrepancies in the magnetic field, assuming the axial rotation. So it does have to be consistent within it because they claim that the axial rotation is the cause of the magnetic field.
Force is the cause of it. The fact that it rotates. That's
the centrifugal force. Centrifugal force.
Listen. You just went on and you threw in all these things while you were doing it. You didn't have to do that. You could have said your major point, but you didn't. So I'm making my point, WITSIT. Okay, the fact that the core is rotating, we know that's what causes the dynamo and causes the magnetic field. That's not WITSIT. WITSIT.
How do we know that?
WITSIT. Hold on, man. That's not what's in question here. What's in question here is why is it making a perfectly aligned magnetic field to match its axis of rotation. And this is not something that I would expect. I wouldn't imagine anybody would expect it because it's a dynamic system. And I just stated that to you.
You're just going to keep saying the same thing.
That has nothing to do with the fact that it's rotating. Like, we know that it's rotating.
You look so dumb, dude. Okay. Okay, so we don't know that rotating, that's your claim. We don't know exactly what the core is made up of, that's your claim. We've never gone further than 7.8 miles. All of the predictions dependent upon the prediction from the surface down. You're claiming to know the very characteristics and makeup of the core itself, which is nowhere close to being accessible. Now, Harvard admits
Is WITSIT cutting out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not real bad, is it?
Sources show the Earth.
his connection's pretty bad.
What
Right
didn't
now.
you tell him?
Is it your own? Yeah, your own papers, which it show or claim
WITSIT,
that.
Well, I'm glad I
rotation.
WITSIT,
so that he admits it's done. You literally
WITSIT,
respond.
we can't hear
That's
you.
right.
You're breaking up completely bad. Terrible.
No, it was a kidnap.
Well, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, but you're cutting up a little bit. Right now.
Am I breaking up now?
No, you're good now.
Okay, well, I'm just glad I was able to help you and assist you guys in refuting your stupid Jesuit religion. Because Harvard themselves debunk it, and you just aren't intellectually honest enough to admit it, or you don't understand the paper. That's not my fault. People in the chat are saying I don't understand the paper.
You don't
Hey,
understand.
hey, WITSIT, come on and tell us why you're not coming to Dallas, man. Everybody wants to know. There was a bunch of people going to put up money. I had like $500 people were going to put up in here last night to watch this thing. And that guy said he was going to pay you to go to Dallas and meet up with Nathan. So what happened and why?
What are you talking about? He was going to pay me. Who said that he was going to pay me? What are you talking about?
That guy that was doing the interview.
Alex Sign.
Yeah, he said that we could get the money together to get you down there and get it handled. He was going to get all this handled.
That's not a problem. That's not in any way a problem. Driving to Dallas, Texas, how is that a problem?
It's not a problem, but why do you say it's not going down now? There's
Okay. Here's what it is. Here's what it is. For one, he would never box me. Okay, he wanted to wrestle or UFC because he can't box me. In addition to that, I'm going to the Solar Return Festival. It's the opposite direction. I don't make my decisions based upon what a bunch of globe zealots want to see. I don't care what anyone wants to see. I'm not scared of it. I think it might glitch the Matrix out and we could, I don't know, like it could go viral or something and it'd be hilarious if I knock him out because he runs his mouth so freaking much. But I'm going to the Solar Return Festival. It's the opposite direction. I was in New Orleans and I went back east. We're in Florida, then we're popping back up north for the festival. So that's why.
Somebody posted the I guess it's the full version of that.
All right, thanks, man. Keep us updated if something goes down where this thing's going to go down, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Reading the paper, I guess it's like the long form. I don't know if that was like a brief version or something like the picture version. This one has a lot more information. But yeah, it talks about, like I said, it being a dipole and just the fact that it's not aligned with the
axis, and that 20% of the field isn't a dipole.
Yeah, but
well, actually, that's just because they're assuming a finite dimension and shape claim, and they're also assuming the axial rotation relative to the center. So the dimension claim of the radius, the distance to the center, the very characteristics of the center, and the axial rotation, and the sphericity assumption. That's why they say, well, 20% of it isn't dipole because they're mapping down this finite, depiction of a sphere. But they admit that they have to find a way to explain how the other 20% of the field takes place. That's what the paper is about, dude. Is it quiet in here or what?
Yeah, you shut the server down, dude. They're all far now.
Nice. All right, well, I'm going to catch up with you guys. I'm going to Rainbow Springs Park, which is, beautiful. I had to go, line up our camp and stuff, and then we're going to have a meetup. So it's been cool. Wouldn't say real cool, but I'll
keep
catch up with you
pushing
later.
the flat earth, brother.
Yes, sir. No doubt. Much love.
Well, what's really funny about the Harvard one is it's just slides he uses in a class.
Oh, now I have to stay. Now I have to stay. See, he wanted to respond once I was going to leave. That's how much of a gamma these people are. So, exactly what's funny about the Harvard paper?
The Harvard paper is just a bunch of slides that the teacher uses to teach in class. It's not
It has a link to the more extensive paper. So, how about you put your big boy pants on? Try again.
WITSIT, can I ask you something before you go?
Both of them.
What's up?
Was a slide
I'll just wait for
presentation.
Chris if that's alright.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it says 20% can't be explained. You don't know what you're talking about. It says that the axial rotation is consistent with the axis of the magnetic field. What's your question?
I was just gonna ask you, like, but before you go, like, would you be satisfied after all these years out here, if someone just gave you like an animated GIF and a bunch of calculations to prove the globe?
No, man. I would not. That's all we get. Fairy tale brought to you by Jesuits. Dude, when things are physically impossible. Dun dun dun. That's why you only have cartoons to build your whole worldview on.
Claims things are impossible, but they're actually not because they're happening.
Well, the magnetic field debunks your religion. I'll catch up with you guys later, though. Stay fly.
I don't have a religion. I just have facts. The Earth is a sphere, and nothing you can say will change that.
How do you think you'd go if Flat Earth proves that it's not a sphere, Chris?
Flat Earthers will never prove that because the Earth is in fact a sphere. They're just living in a delusion.
He's asking you a hypothetical question, Chris.
And I'm answering non-hypothetical. The Flat Earthers will never prove the Earth is a flat plane because it is not a flat plane, it is a sphere.
Are you the epitome of a globe zealot, Chris?
No, I'm just stating facts. The Earth is a sphere, and nothing you can do will change that.
That's why he's asking.
Nothing I can do will change it.
Yes, nothing you will do will change the shape of the Earth being a sphere.
Yeah, and it goes to a globe just the same. If Earth was flat, then nothing that the glober would say would change it.
Sure. No, I wasn't talking about speaking.
Right,
I can say it's true. I can say it's true. Therefore, it is, right?
Yeah, but what if, right? Because you're not going to prove it.
You don't know that.
I do.
How do you know that?
Because you're not going to get out of your ass in front of your computer and do anything.
You know, you guys aren't answering fairly.
How do you know that?
I know.
Are you psychic?
Pretty much because all the evidence points to it being a globe.
Are you psychic, Triky?
Why do you have to answer the way he wants me to answer instead of answering the truth?
Well, you're not answering the way he wants you to answer. I mean, not the opposite of the way he wants you to answer, but you are answering in the same way he would answer. That's my point. Is that the same flaw that they possess when asked questions like that? Sometimes some people will answer it, but a lot of times people just say that they already know it's a flat Earth. So it's like, it's not really how hypotheticals work.
Hypotheticals in this situation. If in fact the Earth truly is flat, which it's not, then nothing I could argue about the Earth being a sphere would change the fact that it's a flat Earth. But it's not a flat Earth; it's a sphere.
So I'm asking you again. How would you go if Flat Earth can prove it's not? How do you think you're emotionally going to be able to deal with that?
Emotionally.
You remember back when they used to have all those mental asylums all over the United States and all over the world, those giant ones that they put in the Tartarian buildings, and they put those people in there. That's what's going to happen to all these people. They're going to be put in these mental institutions, and they're going to listen to classical music all day. Thank you.
Well, I've got more faith in Chris. I'm just wondering that, like, do you think you could handle it, Chris? If it turned out to be something different to what you think.
I believe there's a God, okay? Whatever shape the Earth, he shows me that it is.
Yeah.
If it's different than what we're taught and what the fact is, or what we believe the fact to be, then I'll believe what God shows me, okay?
Respect,
I have no
Chris.
problem changing, but the earth is in fact a sphere, and if God showed me the earth in its entirety, it would be a sphere.
Can I just say one last thing to you, Chris, if that's okay?
Okay, one more thing and then you gotta go, right?
Well, I don't want to hurt you or what you hold to be true or what you believe in. What I
hold to be true. It is the truth.
Okay.
It's objectively true that the earth is a sphere. Go ahead, though.
Okay, I just wanted to clear it up because my beef, Chris, isn't with you, it's with the globe, okay?
Okay. You can't do anything to change that. I mean, have beef with the globe, but your beef ain't gonna do nothing.
Well, it already is, Chris.
Okay, what is it doing?
God's helping me.
And how is he helping you?
God's guiding me towards practicality and simplicity. And he's saying you don't need words. You need to go to what the earth is made of.
You don't need words, then why are you speaking?
Hey, Merle, can I ask you about your
friend's pictures? When we come to proving what it is.
Get back to your friend's pictures that you showed before. I meant what I said. I used to argue this in 24/7. That actually, I remember this guy Hans got really mad at me and yelled at me when I said this. But it's true that if the Earth were completely smooth, the same size as it is, but a completely smooth sphere, you could build a railroad all the way around the equator, and never have to account for the curvature. And you can do that because they're built in small sections, and those sections aren't gonna the air between them aren't gonna add up. They're gonna be isolated in each section, whatever that air is gonna be, depending on what size those things are. So when you make that straight edge and you put it on top of that curved mat or whatever, the comparison to how curved that is and how long that ruler is a much bigger straight line than any section of like a railroad or a bridge in comparison to the Earth.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned, Kosho. Stay tuned.
I like that. I like that meme, Merle, even though it's not the best. I don't know how they got that old man picture, but it's funny what it says though.
Hey Merle, I got a question for you, and I proposed this to Lemonbird before. Say like you take my 6-foot table desk that I have in front of me, and you ratio wise to add the curvature matching the curvature of the Earth, and you were to look across that desk, do you think you would notice the curvature of the desk?
Maybe.
Or would it look flat?
Hey, do you have a cup in front of you, Merle, or a water bottle?
I hope my question even made sense. Did my question make sense?
I thought it was a fantastic question. I got to rewind the tape so I could hear what it was.
And to add to that question, Merle, if you took us and ratio-wise us down to match the size of the table and the curvature, do you think we would notice the curvature of the Earth being that small?
I think he's thinking about your question, Chris. While he's thinking about it, do you have like a pipe in front of you, Merle? A pipe or a water bottle or something round? I don't know.
I got one for you too, Kosho. That actually ran by curve too.
Sure.
So this goes back to that neutronium stream, because remember before when you asked me like why was it aimed down, right?
I didn't ask you that curve did, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well basically I went through the whole thing about the triangles and everything and presented it because I said this is a globe Earth proof, right? This is a home run. This would be a direct measurement to the core if this was true. So
right.
So
that wasn't pointing at the core though. But go ahead.
Yeah. So instead of because I didn't invoke the core. The study didn't invoke the shape of the Earth at all. I kind of did a decay effect on it. And
right.
Okay.
You fubbed the whole thing a little bit because it wasn't.
Yeah, I fubbed it up, anyway, the whole goal was that the triangles in the math were all solid, but I just needed someone to negate it because in my mind it was proving a globe. So then, now we talk about. I figured out this whole idea of why it was aimed down too, because like say you've got a spray can of paint in your hand, and you know that you're going to spray it is going to go out in the cone, right?
Sure.
And you don't want to overspray this wall or this object that you're going to spray. So do you aim the can slightly down or not?
No. I would not aim it down whatsoever. I would probably just get closer to it.
Yeah, but you can't. It's a fixed distance.
Then I would aim higher.
Then you'd overspray it. You'd spray into the air.
Yeah, I would aim higher to make sure I was getting to where I wanted to get to, because the gravity would pull the spray down, and if I sprayed down, it would go even lower than I was spraying.
Yeah, but then you're going to overspray though. You're trying not to overspray. You want to make sure all the spray hits, even if you miss some of it. It's better to than to overspray, where it could cause some damage to the. Say if you've got like a window behind you or something like that.
Then yeah, I'd probably spray down to make sure less.
Okay.
Yeah, but that would be for a specific purpose, because I would know that that's just going to cause less of it to go up. It's going to be mostly down, so I'm going to miss a lot of the spot that I'm needing to spray. But
yeah, but you don't want to overspray. Would be catastrophic.
Sure, but I would aim down to make sure I sprayed the least amount as possible.
There we go. That's all. That's the answer. It took me a while to think about it. That's what I'm saying. I'm always bouncing these ideas around, and sometimes it might not seem like I gave you a good answer at the time, but sooner or later I'll think about it and come up with an idea.
Not analogous. Not analogous at all, because this was a neutrino thing is not aiming a spray. It's aiming neutrinos, and the distance that it's aiming them, they're not trying to miss other things or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? They're aiming it so it could. They're aiming it at another object, at a target. They want to hit the target. So same thing is like, if anything, they would aim a little bit higher to make sure they got that target, but you would never aim a gun lower than the target to try and hit the target. Yeah.
So the stream is not. Remember we talked about too. It does a cone shape. It's not a beam. Remember the first thing too was when I presented as a flat Earth proof, the globalist guy kept making fun of me because I kept saying beam, and it wasn't a beam. It wasn't like a laser beam or a gunshot. It was a spray, like a stream, cone shape type of event. Okay.
Yeah.
So that right there was going to tell you that if you overshoot, right, and you do these, this spray higher than ground level, it would produce damage to the environment, right?
Right. This thing about neutrinos is they have no effect on anything. So that's why they're called neutrinos. They're not.
Fred, I have a question.
Chris, I know you're trying to say something, man. You're gonna.
Yeah, I've got him turned. If it's low, I got him turned all the way down.
Turn back up because he's about to be asking you a question.
Yeah, I can't. His triggering yesterday over all the color stuff was just. It was too cringe.
All right, well, at least put him at at 1 so you can hear that.
Yeah, I got him at 1. So if I hear someone talking, it was at 9 actually.
All right, fair enough. But either way, the neutrinos, they're not going to come into contact with it. They could be shooting. They are shooting through your body right now, and there's no way of you knowing them. So yeah, they're not worried about them going somewhere else. All they're worried about is hitting the target, and if that's the main goal, then aiming it down is not going to be beneficial when the target is, they want to hit it straight on.
Okay, I got it.
What color is the spray paint, Crit?
Can't hear you, Chris, but and that is a triggering question, Chris. It's funny, but it is triggering, of course. You know that.
It's not triggering for me, though. Ask him for me since he can't even hear me.
I'm not Chris. Hey, Crit, I'm sure you've seen, because we've talked about this plenty of times, but you've seen that picture that Goldsteel gave to me at least a long time ago, and other people have, of course, but it's like the sun as seen through the neutrino detector pool, taken at like midnight. So it's taken through the Earth, but supposedly, but it's at midnight. So it's a picture of the sun with neutrinos at midnight. Have you seen that one?
No.
Here it is.
There we go. There's the answer for Lael's question. He can enter, he typed it in text, so I saw it. Use any color Lael wants to either trigger or not trigger. This is up to you, dude. You get to pick, okay? You get to pick the color of the spray paint can. If it's white, brown, whatever color you want.
Are you still going on about color?
You get to pick the color.
Christ, what is wrong with you?
No, it was just a color question was just asked of me, Rizla, and I'm
3 days in a row now. 3 days in a row now. I've joined and I've heard you crying about a fucking
this
color.
This is 17 days in a row. Not by me.
Grip.
Yeah, not by me. This is 17 days.
Get a fucking grip.
Yeah, get a grip, dude. You also posted too, so you've been talking about colors too. How many days are you going to talk about color?
Knobhead.
Yeah, how much are you going to talk about it? Are you going to cry about safe space now? What's your next thing you're going to do?
I wasn't crying. I was pointing out what
you're crying, dude. This is tears.
Dickhead you are.
In your eyes.
That you're
like
so
right
triggered about
you
your
are crying. You are
being
melting
changed.
down over color.
3 fucking days solid.
And the next thing you do is just completely.
I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna go out. I'll come back in about an hour. And I bet he's still going on about it.
I bet you're right. Because
no matter who he's talking to,
and I'll answer
he
the
seems to
color
want
question,
to bring it
and you
back
will
to his
flip the
fucking
fuck out
text
again.
color.
You will melt all the way down.
Fucking dickhead.
Next time a color question is asked, I will answer.
I'm fucking laughing at you.
Yeah, I'm laughing at you
this
too.
Is
absurd, there's
Chris.
no reason why
so
a color question could cause you to spiral this bad. Yeah, as soon as a color question comes up, you're like, what's this about? Oh, Chris answered a color question? Oh my god, time to flip the fuck out.
Mong.
Yeah, keep flipping out.
What a mong.
Yeah, have at it, dude. Now go fuck off to your safe space and you'll be alright.
I'm driving, dude.
Craig, you gotta calm down with it, man. There's a lot of people in here, and you know.
Yeah, if anyone else who wants me to add, right now, hold on.
Chris,
I got a coach. I got a way of fixing it. Chris. Anyone else who wants to ask a color question, they can ask it right now while Rizzo's driving.
I didn't ask a color question. I just pointed out how triggered you are.
I'm trying to say something to you, Craig.
Something so tiny. It's got you so mad.
Stop doing that, though, man. There's a lot of people in here, man. They don't all want to hear that, man. So there's a picture. I told you about.
Who are you talking to?
I was talking to Crit.
You said Crit.
I said Crit. Yeah, he's freaking out, man. I'm telling you not to take. You don't give it any energy.
That's why I asked who you were talking to.
You good? Yeah, that's a picture, Crit. That's the fucking sun. Yada yada yada. Reluctant to say this, man, but I got to tell you, you're feeding into this more than anybody else, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you why. Let me explain you again. One more time, okay? Look at how triggered CB just got. He actually copied one of my memes and reposted it to make it seem like he's making the point. This is what I'm looking for. That is fucking triggered, dude. Look at how far he had to go back to get something and be like, wow, Chris got Lael turned down. That's the same thing as blocking someone in text.
Wait a minute. He blocked
you're
Lael.
a fucking idiot too, dude. You're the guy who cried about a safe space. You can never unring that bell. Yeah, laugh all you want. You are the biggest baby I've ever heard.
Lael.
You actually claimed the safe space. You claimed the safe space. Yeah, keep laughing. You can never unring that bell. You are the Mr. Safe Space to me.
Great, you have children? Yeah, I'm sure you've hung out with kids before, whether you have kids, you have nieces, nephews, whatever. You know, when you're around kids, like kindergartners or something like that, a group of them.
Oh, right. No, we're children, are we?
No, nobody in here is a child, but if you're being if you're being
I heard about you earlier.
That's fine. But if you're
if you gotta fucking talk about me,
I'm not calling you by child. I'm just trying to make sense.
Bitch.
But yeah, Crit, if you are being picked
Crit,
on
you
by,
should run to his DMs.
if you're being picked on by children, Crit,
Who?
you're not going to get.
Rizzo, hold on. Rizzo had to interrupt you to add something. Let's see how important this is. No, not me. Rizzo.
Yeah,
Rizzo, what is it? I couldn't hear you over him because it was so important.
You're the one
It
talking.
does. How am I going to track what you're following if he keeps interrupting you? Go ahead, Rizzo. What do you want to cry about?
Go on, block me, Clip.
Rizzo, go ahead. Say again.
Go ahead, block me, Clip.
Block you? Why? You're entertaining, dude. You are the guy. You are the guy who cries about a face. You are absolutely pure endless entertainment for me. You are a showcase of why it is absolutely hilarious to come here.
Stop spraying on your mic, Clit.
Yeah, I get it, Mo. You don't like the list either. Like that's one of the things you share with the globalists. It's okay.
Don't take it ever to heart, though.
I know, because I told you the other day too. I'm keeping the powder dry, right? You ever heard that term before?
Is that like a weightlifting joke, or
no? It's about like ordnance in the military. They always got to keep your powder dry if you want to fight.
Word.
Right, I could get all Rizzle on you and start claiming safe space and all that.
You wish.
But at that point, that wouldn't do anything because I someday I know there's going to be another topic.
If you have
that
to
me
get
and you are
all
gonna agree
Rizzle on somebody first, you need to get a pump in that mouth and take away all that excess saliva.
Like
okay, good job, Mr. Safe Space.
Try it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well,
have a
stick a
meltdown.
tampon in your mouth. See that out.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep melting down. What else do I need to do?
Good on you, Crit.
Yeah, he's going to he'll reach rock bottom, and when he gets there, I'll be there.
And then you're going to lay the smack down.
No, I'll be there to lift you back up, and we'll go back up to the top together. Yeah, because once you get all the at first, it wasn't that long ago. You would just start screeching safe space. Look, we have a dialogue now.
Fucking pigeon.
Yeah, we have a dialogue right now. We have a dialogue. We didn't have that.
Man, I'm so fucking annoyed at that.
Yeah,
Can you get out
I had a
the
rabbit
car
the other night,
and
it's horrible, isn't it, Joey? It fucking is horrible.
It felt bad.
Yeah, it is getting better. You guys might not know this.
Can we have a moment? Can we have a moment of silence for the pigeon, everyone? Come on.
Yeah. I feel really bad now.
You know, KIMO posted a funny meme yesterday with a pigeon. What do you say? He said pigeons are breaking news. Pigeons are depressed because it's got no.
I'm sending love to the pigeon, Riz.
At least they got the language together.
A pigeon, Riz. No worries, mate.
Yeah, it was a horrible feeling.
I hit a duck a couple of years ago, and I swear it looked me right in the eyes just before I did.
Oh my god!
Fucking haunting me.
It's stupid. There was a possum. I didn't hit the possum the other night, but it was in the middle of the road and didn't even move. When I drove up, I had to like swerve around it. But
yeah,
goes on in their heads.
It's weird like that. I hit a rabbit. I like shot down the road, which needed some munchies, and I was starting a new job the very next day, you know, and so it was not planned to go out at all. And I hit this rabbit, jumped up under the wheel. I was like, fuck. And I thought to myself, is that a bad sign, you know, for this job moving forward? You know, evidently it was worst job I ever had. I don't know what that means. So, all the best. All the best. I hope your day is still good.
I mean, it's a likeliness. It's going to happen, you know.
Weird though to see a rabbit like that on the road. Anyway,
I had a deer that did that one time. It just looked like right in the eyes, and I was like, oh man. I learned too that when you see something coming from the right side, don't turn left. You want to turn into the object because as it was running across the street, I turned away from it, and then that's how I hit it. If I would turn towards it, we would hopefully we would have missed.
You got to take your hands off the wheel and your feet off the brakes.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
That's what I did. A deer went right in front of the car, and it was like a split second, and it jumped right in front of the car, and I like instinctually I let go of the wheel, let go of everything, and I didn't even hit it or whatever. But it's better to just take the hit than to make an accident or something.
Hey Mel, that cat just came back. Bloody hell.
The what?
Must like those biscuits.
You fucking bastard.
You guys imagine being a globalist and thinking turning someone's volume down is the same as blocking them.
Oh man, would you shush?
Imagine that.
We've never had a bigger growing up pansy victim in the server in over like a year that I've been in the server.
So are you gonna cry about it now?
No, you're the one crying, mate.
No, you're crying about it.
No, I'm the one fucking complaining about you crying. There's a fucking difference. I'm adamant when I say to you, you are a whiny little grown up bitch. All the way to the bottom.
Let's go, sheeple. I just simply made a statement about people, thinking that turning someone down also means blocking, and it caused a thermonuclear meltdown from you.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me ask him this. Have you blocked anybody? Is there anybody that says message hidden as the chat's rolling?
No.
Crit.
No one.
No. No one.
Crit,
no one at all. No one on your block list.
One person.
Okay, screenshot your block list then.
Can I ask him something?
So what will that do if I screenshot my block list?
You screenshot your block list shows that no one's on your block list.
Yeah. What does that do?
Shows me that you're not lying to me.
Okay, you're gonna say either way I'm lying, right?
Crit.
No.
Okay,
you not wanting to do something that you said was already done is now making me think you're a liar.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, you piece of shit, because you had me blocked.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, let's do it.
A man yelling on the internet. I'm so fucking scared.
I know.
How do you check your block list?
If you were sitting in an empty pool, crying and spraying,
look a second here.
He would fill it. He would fucking fill it. No.
Where is it? Where's the block list?
It would take him 17 days, and he would fill it up. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
And then he would dye it green.
Who do you think I have blocked? I'll just screenshot their comments right here in real time.
I think you blocked me, Crit.
No, I have to see. There's a list, right? Do you see a list of people who are blocked?
Dude, if this was my server, you would have been gone 16 days ago.
I know. On your server, I was banned. And
I don't have a server. I don't have a server, and I've never banned you. As I took a screenshot of the other day, Crit, you whiny bitch, and showed you that I didn't have the ability to ban you. I only have the ability to kick Crit.
Crit, you gotta get better. I know you get a little. I don't want to use the word triggered, but you
no, it's a way of taking the conversation to its logical conclusion.
Crit, I know, but you gotta get better at not talking over.
Is he an egg?
No. He's a potato.
Do they say that in New Zealand? This guy's an egg.
No,
we say egg.
How about this? The only way you can't
It's like when you're being an idiot and everyone around you has kind of complained, and you just say,
this is what we'll do right here. Anyone who thinks I've got them blocked, you can't react to their comments. Go through and try to. If you can't react to any of my comments, then you'll know that you're blocked.
He's funny though.
No, I was just gonna say that you're the type of person to cry and moan and bitch and block. I had to block him, and then that you talk about not being a whiny bitch. That's like trying to block life. No, stop life. Stop it.
Look at the spiral. What's going on with you, dude?
What color was your original text, Crit?
I have no idea. If I went back to the older screenshots, it started off being yellow, then it went to like blue and then green. And green is what really caused the problem. As soon as Shroomy saw my color was green, it was a thermonuclear meltdown. Yeah. And also, too...
it was thermonuclear.
Yeah, it was
what an exaggerating whiny bitch.
Thermonuclear meltdown. That's really kind of what... Well, actually, it goes back even further than that. It goes
Oh
back
my
because
goodness! Tell me the story.
Yeah,
lie
so-
down and tell me the life
yeah,
story.
if you want to hear it,
Lie back on
otherwise,
the couch.
what's going on?
Is the green color in the room with us now, Chris?
Tell me about your favorite.
I don't know.
color.
Is it? What color am I now? I haven't typed for a while. Is my color back to green or not?
What's your
Rizla,
favorite color?
Rizla, I can't believe this shit. I really can't. This man's
Fucking
meant to be
mental,
like,
innit?
he's meant to be like twice my age, and he doesn't have the coherence to notice what he's doing. Everything you do is
Thinks he's
justified,
winning.
Crit.
What's that?
Everything you seem to do in your mind is justified.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
at
and
the
we're
end
the
of
ones
day, I'm
spiraling.
making
You're
no
the one
claims
talking about
you.
a fucking color.
Yeah, I'm not.
on the
I make
screen.
no claims about you at all at any time. This is all.
Well, here's the
that
thing.
shit-
Here's the thing. I've had to endure you, and that's why I'm opening my mouth. Okay?
Well,
It doesn't
cry
matter
about
if
it.
it's fucking morning.
So,
It doesn't
yeah,
matter
at
if it's
some
fucking
point you're
afternoon or
going to really
nighttime.
get worked
I
up
have
by
to
it.
listen to you. I have to witness you. You are the most.
Yeah, you too.
This server has been the most patient I've ever seen with someone like you because you offer absolutely fucking nothing unless we want a pixel color.
Let's not keep pushing.
Yeah,
it,
no,
though.
hold on. Let's test this claim. I've got nothing to offer. Let's go through this. Someone do a post. Let's do a good thing. Crit offers nothing to the server. Do it.
What's that, mate?
You don't want to do that.
No, do it. Let's see it. I have every. If I'm wrong on this, I'm looking for evidence. Let me instead of just telling me, show me the cowbell. Let me see.
You want me to do? You want me to do a quick poll?
Yeah, let's see it.
Well,
Do we type?
You know what?
Do we type one? Or
Just
the smiley
it
face.
doesn't have
What
to
do we
be
do?
about you, man.
Just
No,
do
let's
just
do it,
do
because if
a
it
dollar
wants to be
sign
about
and then
me, we
QP
can
and
do
then
it.
write. Does
We can-
Crit
we can do
offer
that.
anything to the server?
Yeah, Crit offers nothing to the server.
Hey, sheeple.
What's up, brother?
The thing about colors reminds me of when I made that stupid list and everyone took it serious.
Crit offers
No, that was tame compared to this.
I know, but I mean, it's the same stupid thing.
You're talking over Dallas.
Hey, Crit offers as much as Rizla does to the server. Thank you.
I disagree. I disagree. And Rupert Cal says, just do the same as when I hear you talk for hours, listen to something else.
Look at my color,
Yep.
guys.
That's cool. That's cool, Rupert Cal. That's
He's
cool.
in New
Yeah,
Zealand.
this is what I got.
He's Australian.
I'll
Is he?
debunk this
Yeah.
right quick. From my
New
understanding,
Zealand.
No, he's Australian.
right here,
What
I
an
was
asshole.
voted number 7
He's
of
Australian.
the Flat Earth Supreme Leader bracket.
Oh my god, he keeps these things. Do you have a special file for this?
That's Lael's list. Lael just said people took it seriously. Nobody took it seriously.
No, but it is something that I am offering something to the server because I did make number 7. If you look at it, other people who aren't even part of the server voted higher. So at least I'm here talking about it.
Nathan Oakley's on the list. man.
I said
Kevin's
it's
on the list.
beneficial.
Dewey is in front of you.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
not
what I'm saying.
seriously.
So if I've got nothing to offer, why did I even make the list at all?
Rupert Cal's not even
Wait,
in the
this
chat.
is the Supreme Leader
Lost
bracket.
at the
Oh,
very bottom of that list, and you're at the top, Crit.
Crit,
Where's my
you were
man
just
Brad?
added onto the list. I mean, everybody was added onto the list. I think the top 5 are the only ones that are supposed to be showed. I changed it so it's only the top 5 that are shown.
I still can't find that bloody Mars footage either.
It doesn't matter.
See, the
Crit.
problem.
Just don't take anything personally, man. It's all good.
Yeah, it really it didn't really work well because I went against Arwen twice, which is like that wasn't really a fair bracket.
Fucking hell, I was complaining about the bracket.
Let's actually be.
No, I think
Let's
I could have
actually
done
be.
better.
It's incredible.
Kosho, can you rig it so we can win? So that we,
Yeah.
we'll just maybe take a bit of joy from life.
Yeah.
Why not?
He's sick of just
Yeah,
getting a
let-
participation trophy.
Hey, guys, I would like you to pay attention to text chat. Look at my color.
Yeah, I've got nothing to do with text color, so don't worry about it, dude. Absolutely nothing.
You just make this whole thing, Crit, whether it's the voice chat or the text chat, streaming about you. I mean, one only has to type in from Crit into the search bar and see the maniacal level that you reached over nothing at all. You've lost every interaction you've had during the text chat, and you certainly embarrassed yourself further in the voice chat.
Yeah, I've got you.
Have you forgotten that you're here to tell us about flat Earth?
I'm just following the room, dude. I'm not in control here.
Chris,
you're not in control.
Chris,
you certainly display that.
Yeah, I got nothing to do with any of the stuff going on in text chat, or you make it seem like somehow I've paid all these trolls to flood text chat so I can make the conversation about me.
Doing this because
that's not what it is. That's not what it is, Chris. It's you make it about you.
No, I don't. I've got no control here. I'm not guiding anything.
Great. Remember when I was trying to say something before and you didn't let me say it, and it got misconstrued what I was saying?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not calling anybody here a child. Okay? I'm just giving you an analogy, a way to frame it in your mind, because that's how silly the things that are being said, like the color. This is all silly stuff. This type of stuff that, like, if you went to elementary school or something like that, like the kids they'll be joking around with you and call you like a poo-poo head or doo-doo head or something like that. It's just like a silly joke, and the difference is most people in those situations can treat it like what it is and either not acknowledge it or be playful with it, whatever it is, but they certainly wouldn't get triggered or serious with it. And if they did, those people would respond to that triggeredness with laughter, like, and maybe some annoying, like, it's like it's happening in here a little bit. And the key is maybe just to treat it like what it truly is. It's just silly things people are saying. So
yeah, this is what I'll explain it. Okay. So this is really
now, at the end of the day,
they have this goal to say that they're trying to get rise out of people. They want people to get triggered, right? Their goal is to say a bunch of weird, weird shit, say weird shit, and then if the person doesn't interact with them, they'll say, "Oh, we ran that person off," like they did with Stacy, and why the Pinkerton role was completely removed. If the person
you've
sticks
kicked
around,
more people off in half an hour than I've ever seen in my life on the server.
Yeah,
You're gone. You didn't answer the question. You're gone. Cognitive diss for you. This, that, this.
Yeah, you shut the fuck up. You better hear the answer.
Oh, you shut the fuck up. Now you're gonna backbone. Good to see it. Did you grow it? Did you grow it in the last 5 minutes?
Up, you hear the answer.
Fucking spineless.
Yeah, you shut the fuck up. You hear the answer, you dumb cunt.
Hey, Chris, he's letting you finish.
That's better.
Yeah,
That's
go ahead.
better. Some balls have appeared.
Calm down. He's letting you finish. Okay.
Go balls.
All right. So the whole idea here is that they had this big thing going. You had a good thing going here. You had a bunch of text chat trolls that they would say a bunch of ridiculous shit, being completely stupid. If the person didn't respond and just said enough of this and left, then they'd say, "We ran that person off the server." Another win for the Pinkertons. If the person did respond, then they said, "Oh, look at this. We triggered this person." And this is a good thing they had going. They had it going for a very long time until eventually it went overboard and they started making target lists, enemy lists, like seek and destroy type stuff. And it got to the point where Jem said, "This is not what the server's about anymore." The problem was, instead of blaming, and I raised it to the attention, I posted screenshots of what they had done, and I said, "Hey, this is what they did," and Jem removed the role. Instead of taking up with Jem, they decided to make it about text color. And then they started changing my roles to say my roles were pedophile text colors. They changed my role red, then changed it green, and I just played along with it for a while.
It must have been awful for you.
Funny.
It must have been awful for you.
Holy shit! What's pedophile colors?
Yeah, I'll show you. I got the screenshots of it.
I bet you do.
This is what I'm talking about, though, Chris. This is what I just explained to you, though, about how silly that kind of stuff is. And
yeah, so they're
hoping. You described what looked like a selfish choice, but it's not a selfish choice. It's not.
Right
it's not a lose-lose situation. You have another option. The other option is just don't take it seriously, man.
The real option is
if no one took it seriously in the first place, why did they make it a serious thing in the first place if it's silly? That's the point.
You cry as long as you like.
Crit is right. I understand the point he's making here. If it's something so silly, why was it made such a big deal about it in the first place?
No, not a single person in here is making a big deal out of it.
Hey, hold on. I'll show you why it's a big deal. I got actually banned from the server for text color. and then KIMO got his roles removed because they assumed he was adding the colors back. So really, all the moderators are just basically teasing, having fun with CB and Shroomy because they were all worked up over text color. So they would remove a text color, someone else would add it back and forth, and they were all having fun with it. I just kind of ignored it until eventually I started getting kicked and removed from the server. I'm like, now it's pretty fucking retarded. Now at this point, it's gotten so fucking retarded. It's time to start saying something about it.
And then
now we got you and Lale now triggered by it too. Also worked up over text colors. And you got Rizla all worked up over text colors. So now at this point, it said Crit doesn't offer anything to the server. Let's see it. Let's post it. Let's do a poll.
And then?
You're adding so much.
No, and then.
And then you ended up freaking out, Sheeple, losing control.
Yeah, it's like, dude, where's my color?
No, I did. No, I did. Do you have any kind of predictions, Crit, where this will go? Like, what's the end game here?
Yeah, dude, right here. Dude, where's my car? There's your end then.
I reckon you need to grow up a bit.
Boop, boop.
Hashtag, please turn the time over to KIMO. He's funner than Crit.
No, and then.
No one did.
KIMO did vote over was above me in the Supreme Leader bracket.
Hi, KIMO.
I have yet to see. This is the first time I've seen someone chromo triggered.
Oh no, the ghost is talking to me.
I'm gonna get triggered in a minute if we keep having to listen to Crit go on and on about himself.
You're already triggered, dude. You just don't know it yet.
We have an update on Jedi's health.
I'm the least triggered person on the server.
No, you're the most triggered. You went triggered 2 days in a row over text color and made it about paint. I told you to use whatever paint color you need. You did the same thing while I was talking to Curve. Whatever paint color you need to trigger or not trigger, fill that question in for yourself.
It's not the color, mate. It's what you're saying.
Look, hey, Innocent, if you're there, please change my text color to the gayest color you can think of.
Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that.
See, I don't care about color, because color means nothing in this server, just like Innocent said before.
Yeah, I got claims to quite the opposite.
I got a question about Mormons. Is it just as wrong? Is being gay wrong in Mormonism? I'm just curious. Are there gay Mormons?
Better.
Yeah, are there gay Mormons in that, or is it like is it accepted in the
G-H-E-Y gay or the G-A-Y?
The one that everyone knows, obvious.
Well, there's like a G-H-E-Y one as well, isn't there?
Say again, Mr. Will.
What's the answer, Chris? I want to know this.
Are you asking? Is it a sin to?
No. Is it just accepted? Is it like accepted or is it frowned upon?
Say accepted. I don't know what you mean by that. Is it accepted that it's okay to have relationships with the same sex? No, that's not accepted.
The two guys cannot get married in your church.
True. And they never will be able to.
Well, I mean, the Christianity has kind of moved.
What about Chris? What about two transgender? What if one identifies as a woman, and the man identifies? No. So the woman identifies as the man identifies as the woman. Would that be allowed?
Well, of course it would.
Why would that be allowed?
Why wouldn't it? You got two different genders still.
Would that be identified?
Now, if you said a woman identifying as a man marrying a woman identifying as a woman, then maybe you would have had a point.
That's what I'm saying. So the woman identifies as the man, and
it's not what you said.
The man identifies as a woman. Chris, is that allowed?
You've just still got two different genders in the couple, though. So where's the problem? If you mean to say if a woman identifies as a man marries a woman identifying as a woman?
No. So the man has chopped off his bits, and
ouch.
That would be sexual sin. So no.
And then the woman has added bits. And
so you've still got two genders?
Yeah. So does that allow Chris?
No. I already said no.
No. Oh, you
You've
said
got
no.
two genders though, Chris. There. Why isn't
Not
that
allowed.
allowed?
Not allowed.
Bloody weird.
Because the reason why they're not allowed, the vows would say, "Do you take this man to be your lawful wedded husband? Do you take this wife to?" This
Do
woman?
they have them vows in the Mormon wedding?
So, Chris, that's
so.
why, isn't it? Because
I'm asking a question. Do you mind not talking over him? Do they have them vows in the Mormon wedding?
Not in the same way like that.
Yeah,
no, but yes.
So if your wife put a strap on, Chris, would you be alright with that?
What?
Merl. That's a question, man.
I don't have a wife, but what do you have?
That's the problem you have with the question.
Well, your
Merle
boyfriend.
likes to get pegged, and he
Chris,
wanted to know if you
you're
would
allowed to
consent.
marry several women, though, right? At once.
No.
No.
Yeah, they have many wives.
How come Rizla?
No.
How come Rizla, who's not Mormon, can answer that question, but you can't?
Because I've seen documentaries where the Mormons have many wives, many children.
No, you haven't.
Polygamy, there you go. Everyone's heard
Not
about it.
legally,
There
you
was
haven't.
a sect a little bit ago that did. A sect of defected people that weren't.
Are you
members-
from many wives, many husbands? Are you like many children, or just no?
I mean, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David,
Ha ha
Solomon,
ha ha! Very funny.
all had multiple wives and they weren't condemned for it.
Yeah.
So why is
Yeah.
that funny? It's true.
That's true. A bunch of those dudes, I wouldn't say multiple wives. Some of them had multiple wives, but some of them just had they banged their maids.
Oh, so I didn't say how many. Multiple means more than one, right?
Yeah.
So Abraham had 2 wives. I think Isaac had at least 2.
Well, I said, Abraham didn't he have one wife and then he banged his maid, didn't he?
Isaac had more. I think Isaac had at least 3. Jacob also had at least 3.
Like father, like son.
And David, I don't know exactly how many they had.
Jacob pretend his sister or his wife was his sister.
When they were in Egypt, yeah.
Yeah. That's a cuck thing to do, man. It was because he. By the way, I don't mean nothing bad about Jacob, of course, but I shouldn't have called
that
him
was Abraham that did.
I thought that was Jacob.
That was
My
Abraham.
bad.
Pharaoh.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I thought Koshan knew more about the Bible.
No, yeah, I mean, I just get that mixed up because I know Jacob went to Egypt, but I think
Not a religious room, you know.
Whoa.
Aren't you religious? Aren't you religious? Crazy.
Remember that next time you have a fucking religious conversation in here, Spaz.
Yeah. Wasn't he telling us? Wasn't he telling us all about the devil and everything today?
But Chris, don't be a spaz. If you want to talk about religion, you have a religious room.
KIMO's being weirdly.
Stop being new agey, KIMO.
You should see
That's
what
what I'm
freaked out
saying
at.
now. All that new age stuff, you're gonna have to take a good look at and see where it's leading you, and the path that is wide. But again, let's not get into religion. Let's get into.
Yeah, there you go. Earlier
It's okay when you're speaking, eh, KIMO?
But you guys keep talking about it. I find it odd that the atheist wants to be enlightened. Like, why?
I think Chris is not an atheist, and I don't think I'm an atheist either. I'm pretty sure Sheepo's not an atheist either.
Nope. I'm pretty sure Rizla's not an atheist either.
So you want to talk about religion? That's what you're saying.
No. I was correcting what you said. Craig had done the same thing earlier too. I corrected him. He said that too.
You know that's where this is all leading, guys.
Where, Merle? Tell us.
To the big cheese.
The big cheese?
I would like to point out to Merle that in Hebrew there are no capital letters. That's just an English thing.
Mm-hmm. What's
There's
behind
no
the big...
G God in
the big cheese?
When you get to the door of the big cheese, what's behind the door?
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
That's where it all leads. If you look at every book, Quran, Bhagavad Gita,
Well, you've read the
the
Quran.
Bible,
You read the Bible?
No. The Bible's separate because it's the only one where someone died.
Whoa. Religion talk downstairs, Keep.
Oh no, we shouldn't be talking religion.
Wait, it's alright when he says it, right? It's just rules for these.
But I just said you want to talk religion, and you're like, yeah, we want to talk religion.
But everyone here, listen. Come on, guys, we're big enough to do this. Everyone here is a flat earther, right?
No.
So,
what's wrong with you?
Yes.
No,
and
not everyone here is a flat earther.
And then we realized that the Earth was created, right?
No.
But we don't know by who or what, right?
Gravity, Merle. Try to follow along.
Oh, yeah. Magic, you mean?
No, it's not magic. It's called
magic.
New age, Merle, be careful.
Yeah.
I know, see? They're talking about the magic of the New Age, right?
It's not magic.
Yeah, but that's Luciferian stuff, Merle.
No.
What?
It's really
leads you to hell. And
there's a religion in Kimo.
Space dust.
Kimo, there's a religion room. You need to find it.
Yeah, but it leads the road. That road, all that mystical stuff. We'll know in the next world, not now.
Yeah. So what's this world about?
This world is about knowing why you're here, what you're about, and how to get out. There's only one way out.
Do you really think there's a meaning of life?
Of course there's a meaning. You're put here for a reason.
Yep.
Really?
What's your reason?
Yours is to come here every day.
So there's no point to any of this.
There is every point is for you to recognize that you're born in sin. You know good and
you're
evil.
Not. There's no such thing as sin.
That means you should have been destroyed because you know evil. What is like you said? What's the point? That's a good question, Mel. Like, what's the point? So if there's if there's evil, people might be like, well, what's the point of this world? God, Jesus, is showing you a way out. Like, it doesn't have to be like this.
Kimo, are you talking religion here?
I know they won't stop. They won't stop. That's but that's what they want. They want the religious talk.
We're talking about reality.
No, you're really, Mel.
What can we do?
You think you're talking about reality? You're talking about a big cheese.
Jesus.
Who's the big cheese, Bizarre?
I have my own personal cheeses.
The big cheese. Is that what you call your...
Hey, Kimo, here's my question.
Big lump of
I don't know what else to call it. I don't know what else to call it, Stone.
I'm sure you don't.
Where does that thing come from, right? The big cheese.
Well, you can see already that NASA and their followers are trying to get out in the wrong way. They're trying to escape to somewhere. They know about the dome or not dome, or they can't leave. They're trying to leave. They think this is the way to get out, and they're taking these guys down with them. You see?
As a proposition, dome or no dome.
And if you want to go up, you have to become light enough to get through the medium. And the only way you can become light is through Jesus. That will transform you, and then you'll be able to break through the barrier.
Jesus. It's cheeses, not Jesus. Good grief.
Well, Yeshua, just to be clear.
Kimo, there's a room to speak about.
I know, Sheeple. They keep talking about religion. Now, what can we do? I would rather talk about the science, which will obviously lead to the creator.
But you don't know fuck all about science.
Guys are curious. Yeah. Science? What would you like to know about science?
You don't. What's the point asking you? You know fuck all about science.
Oh, yes, you know how to conduct scientific experiments.
He was like, I like to talk about science, but I don't know it.
Yeah, you talk a lot of shit about nothing because you don't understand science. You are a science denier. You have to be because you think the Earth is flat.
I would say we're pseudo-science deniers.
No, that's the one thing you believe in is pseudoscience. We actually believe in real science. You believe in bullshit like pseudoscience and the flat Earth and the dome and fucking religion.
Well, we have put that to the test. We have looked at what you've told us, and we found there's...
No, you're lying again, Kimo.
There are millions of people all across the flat plane testing the globe. There doesn't seem to be a globe to test.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Chris.
No.
Okay, question for you. Did Jesus
take upon himself?
Did Jesus take upon himself Adam's sins? Or no?
No.
Talking about?
No.
Did Jesus take upon himself Adam's sin?
He died for our sins.
But did Did he die for Adam's sin?
No.
Back to the religion.
Come
But
on.
no, our sins. We shouldn't be alive here right
Humans
now.
are just particular ones.
Who is this our?
Everyone now who knows good and evil.
And so you can inherit sin. Is that correct? You can inherit sin.
Back to the religion.
What
You
sin?
guys want to be saved. There's only one way.
I mean, are we still on the line for what Adam and Eve did? Is that what you're saying?
No. The reason I answered the question is very
Exactly.
important.
They're not real.
If you were to answer yes, then Adam's sin wouldn't be upon us anymore because, look, Jesus already covered Adam's sin.
Really? You only have to die for 3 days to cover everybody's sin?
That's what I thought too. That's what all Christianity believes. I don't know why KIMO doesn't.
Chris, can I tell you something that's more likely? This is my interpretation. This is going to be offensive, though. Okay, but it's not offensive. It's in some people's eyes might be respectful. But I think that he was a spiritual guy, probably. And he was probably also a learned traveler, and was also probably some kind of magician, right? Because all the miracles that he did were tricks that I know how to do. Except for one trick. There was one time I went on a cruise and I was joking with my brother, and I was saying that I would do it.
Hold on.
Hold on. I was saying that I would do a trick. Hold on 1 second, whoever's doing that. Is that Merle? Anyways, the one trick I was going to tell my brothers, because we look kind of alike, I was going to say I'm going to do a magic trick where it looks like I'm on stage on the cruise ship, and then I jump off the side of the ship, and then I reappear in the back of the ship. But really, it would have been my brother that I just killed. And so it wasn't really me. And I don't know if you remember this, but at the end, when they caught Jesus, it was supposed to be Judas that gave him a kiss on the cheek, and that was really the only way that they identified it was him. Technically, the people who were looking for him had no idea what he looked like, or they couldn't recognize him from a different person. So it's not outside the realm of possibility, because if we're taking away the miracles and just using magic tricks, that Judas could have kissed the wrong person on purpose. And when Jesus came back 3 days later, he came back because he wasn't ever dead.
Judas never died. Anyways, so Elmix brought up a good point, Kosho. Elmix brought up a good point. Jesus died for Chris Colors.
Look, the mockers and the scoffers will suffer dearly. So look, you need to repent.
I didn't mock anybody, Kimo.
What?
I didn't mock anybody.
No. The mockers and the scoffers, whoever they may be.
Nobody in here is mocking the scoffers.
Saying.
He's just saying, dude. He's just.
Yeah, well, there's a problem.
He's just
If
saying that
Jesus
we
was-
laugh at religious matters.
If Jesus was God and died, then he couldn't be everlasting.
I thought Jesus was God.
That's what I'm saying. If Jesus was God and died even for 1 second, he couldn't be everlasting.
He was his own father and son, and he was eternal, but he died.
No, but Jesus himself said, this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and even me, Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. So right there, he just separated himself to even be remembered. But anyway, it doesn't
that's
matter.
why reading the Bible is just so fucking painful, because it's so badly written. I mean, I thought
Well, it took like
J.R.R.
400
Tolkien
years.
had a painful writing style.
Yeah, but it took 400 years to implement the Trinity, and the only verse in Trinity is John 1:5-7, which was later found out to be a lie and an inserted verse, which has been removed in the new editions and noted that this was a lie.
And I prefer the Trinity in the Matrix, I have to admit.
Not even that hot, dude. That's always messed me up about the movies. Like, that they picked her. I mean, I bet you she's like a Nebuchadnezzar 10 or 9 or something. But out of all the chicks, and like the woman in the red dress was way hotter than she was. If I could,
She was meant to look like that, though.
That's the whole point. Yes.
She was meant to be like a special program, not quite normal. You know what I mean? Like
Trinity?
Yeah.
She wasn't a program.
She wasn't a. The whole Matrix.
Are you thinking
thing,
of the woman in the red dress?
No, the whole Matrix thing is like a whole system. Like Trinity was a character that was in the 6 times of the Matrix, and it was just a different outcome. but basically she was put there for a reason in the system of the Matrix.
Maybe I don't get it because I thought they were still just people. Even though he said that, he's like,
I just happen to like seeing Carrie Ann Moss in a very, very tight outfit. Okay.
Yeah, but even still, like they almost had to force her being sexy. She was actually better looking in Jessica Jones. She was in Jessica Jones. She was okay.
Oh yes, that's true. Yes.
She was a lesbian.
Mind you, to be honest, I think she'd look nice in sackcloth.
None of which proves you're on a spinning, flying ball
the Matrix does prove
of space. None of
What are you talking about?
He's trying to turn it back to the flat Earth because we're talking about something way more interesting.
Can I show you something
I've got
that Chemo? That nobody
What?
did address. Everyone was a little bit afraid to address it earlier. WITSIT even though he was brave enough to say he would knock out
No, when arguments like that ensue, Kosho, it's
This
already
argument here,
lost
Chemo.
because you're arguing the model, you're arguing the mathematics.
Yes.
When you're
We're talking about the Matrix, Kimo. What the hell are you talking about? We're talking about Trinity and the Matrix just then.
I know,
How does that in any way
You got no
segue
breast.
back to flat Earth or
it doesn't
globe
prove
Earth?
the globe, does it? But
She has an old lady face, even as a young
Nor
lady.
were we talking about anything to do with that. This
But
is
what's
what proves
more
the globe. You're
important?
looking.
You
Check
usually
this
lie
out.
to you about the shape of the Earth or the Matrix. What's more important?
Kimo, how are you going to address this, man? Because without writing it off as math or something, the point is that
When is the Matrix 4 out, by the way?
There's a relationship, Kimo, between a circle and its radius and a circle of a sphere and the curve to the North Pole. There's a distinct relationship that you can't overlook.
Yeah, I don't get bogged down in all the calculation side of it, Kosho. Simply because, again, it's your model, okay? So you guys can always come out on top when it comes to calculating things. But when it comes to the practical nature, that's where you guys fall short. That's where we
6
shine.
years and all you've got is a black swan.
That's where we shine.
We're talking about the practical.
Yeah, but again, anything on paper, drawing, circle, all that stuff is just, I mean, you can't apply.
There's been no positive evidence of FE.
Let's have him run.
Mathematics.
Hey, B-Ball for life. Yeah, we're just saying that you guys are good at the numbers, drawings, the imaginary lines and that, all that kind of stuff. You're good at. But when it comes to kosher, stop doing that, kosher. I'm in the middle of saying something with B-Ball for life.
Actually address what's being said instead of running from it.
Yeah, I'm just addressing. I'm saying when it comes to the practical nature of reality and testing things like where the heart. So if you use your geometry, for example, B-Ball for life, or you tell us the horizon's here, we can go out and find out physically it's not. So when it comes to the physical,
That's not true. Well, that's not true because
don't change this up. Don't go through space.
I can measure something without physically going to it and measuring it.
Yeah, but again, if we're told that the Earth is 3959, and then the horizon, the drop, is at whatever distance, and we go out there and physically measure it, well, where's the geometry if it's not where you say it is?
I want you to address the thing that I brought up to you, man. Unless you're.
I know, but Coach, I don't really get bogged down. That kind of thing is for Lemon and for WITSIT. But for me, the model is just the model. It's a reification, and again, we're not going to get anywhere because it's not reality. And obviously, if it was, you would demonstrate the connection. You would say, look, here's reality, here's the model, here's reality, here's the model. You see?
Kimo, I want you to be real. I want you to be real now because we're not talking about models. We're talking about the actual distance around the equator. Okay, this is a value that everybody can recognize.
You see?
We're talking about the actual distance from Africa, where the equator is, straight north to the North Pole. These are distances. These are not models. These aren't.
Somebody's hot micing. Hold on, I can't hear you. Somebody's hot micing.
You can hear me even though someone's hot micing me.
Who is that though? Is that you? Who?
It's fucking Merle's rummaging through the trash bin.
Yeah, so we do.
Merle, knock it off or you got to get muted.
Is it Merle? Oh, Merle, we can hear your clanging and.
Yo, puff your chest out, Kimo. It's time to be brave.
Mate.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't need to.
Like I said,
okay.
These distances aren't based on a model. They're based on the actual distances on Earth. Okay, the equator is a distance. It's a real distance. The distance from the equator in Africa to the North Pole is a real distance. People have lived there for a long time.
Yeah, but you heard WITSIT, didn't you, just moments ago?
Yeah, WITSIT did the same thing that you're trying to do, which is run from it.
No, he said you would need to know the distance from one point to the center. He was trying to show the connection. There was no connection, basically, Kosher.
That wasn't his point, and we know the distance from Africa to the North Pole.
How do you know?
Because people live in Africa. People
But
have
who's
lived in
measuring it, though,
for thousands of years. People have lived in Europe for thousands of years. We know this. Man.
That's why I said it's just a model. It's your idea that you think this is this size, right? And then you're saying, well, why? How does this work on our model? And I'm like, well, that's the model, Kosher.
Do you realize when you guys measure distance from anywhere to the north is going to be the most accurate due to the fact that anytime you're traveling any other direction, you're abiding by a compass. So you're not actually traveling in a straight tangent. You're traveling in a curved path. Thus, your measurements aren't quite accurate.
That's possibly one of the dumbest things I've ever fucking heard in my life.
There you go. That's why I don't get involved in their model, in their nonsense.
So I'm going to show you.
Because anything you say, they can already win because it's their model.
Okay, hold on, Kimo. Dice, look, get your example ready.
I'm going to show you an example, man.
Yeah, show us the example.
Before you got a 10-inch. You got a 10-inch. I'm sorry. Let me repeat it. You have a 10-inch piece of string, right? You stretch that string out and you measure it. It's 10 inches. If you take that string and you apply a curve anywhere on that string and you measure from end to end, it's no longer 10 inches, is it?
That's where you're a little bit confused here. We're not talking about going through the earth and finding some distance.
Oh my god.
Obviously, if you have a string and you wrap it around the earth, the distance that you travel to, if you're crossing that string, it's still going to be 10 inches. It's 10 inches of distance. Doesn't change.
I'm not talking about making a circle with the string. I'm just talking about putting a curve on it. We're just talking about traveling right now.
Well, we know when we travel over the earth, it's always a great circle. So
we don't know any of this until we have a demonstration. What do you talk like that?
Look, you still got 10 inches of string there. Now, what you're trying to do is measure not the string, but what would effectively be a cord, and say, see, it's not 10 inches anymore. That's absurd.
See, now you can see why I didn't get involved, because now already you've got ball earthers.
Because you're wrong, and you can't deal with this
arguing
argument.
over their model. And this is why I say we deal... Kosher, this is the point. You're all shouting at each other now.
I was making a point before he got in and did
Three
that.
ballers arguing. No, it's this way, it's that way, it's this way. What are you talking about?
You're not saying anything, Kimo. So I'm.
So you, Grim, and Curved, three ballers, arguing about the method.
Right.
And you want me to answer this question for you?
Kimo, I was trying to make a point based on what you said about what WITSIT said. And
I'm saying you want me to answer this when you've got three ballers arguing about how this even works.
Kimo, you said that already, and it's not adding anything. Okay, right? Here's something adding. Me adding something. We're not talking about models. We're talking about a map. Okay, distances that are real. People have lived in Africa.
You're talking about a two-dimensional map.
Why are you interrupting?
Because he's got a point to say to Kosho. He's obviously not.
Fucking Kosho, make his fucking point.
Very quick point, Kimo. The distances in Africa from the equator to the north part of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
These are real countries. These are real distances. Those distances are not in dispute. So there's no reason to say that they are. Neither is the Mediterranean. People have sailed them for a long time. The numbers that they know the distances to be, that people recognize, there's no contention about that either. Neither are the distances in Europe. Okay? So there's no contention between any of the distances from the equator to the North Pole, from Africa to Europe to the North Pole. So it's not about models. This is a real map of the Earth.
No, you don't know any of that. Okay? Unless we have a practical demonstration of what you're talking about. Now, you want me to answer like Grim and Curved or whoever, and then get... Oh, that's wrong. That's ridiculous. How could you say such a thing? Point is, the model... your model can defeat any argument because you have a working model. But the problem is your model doesn't represent reality. When we practically try to show your model in the real world, it doesn't pair up.
Kimo, I just told you I wasn't talking about a model. I just specifically
Any
said
numbers you give, any distances, you don't have them. No one's been around the ball. No one's measured from A to B. Show who's done this.
Here's the thing. These guys use a two-dimensional map to navigate themselves. And nowhere in reality can you see that two-dimensional map be pasted over a beach ball and have it work. It just wouldn't fit. And
Right.
vice versa the other way. If you took a beach ball that had a map on it and you were to cut it and
Seems like there's a vid like that.
and make it flat, it would never flatten out. It would distort.
Yeah, I
this is
think
the whole,
Kimo's seen
the
that
whole
vid a few
idea.
times too.
Kosho,
If there's only one map that seems to match reality 100% of the time.
Kosho, look how many issues your question is posing already, and you still want me to answer this.
Yeah,
It's a slimy move, Kimo.
That's
Absolutely
why
still
we
want you to answer.
deal with the practical nature and side of things. Because then,
Do you want to answer that guy's question for him or for us? Because I know you know the answer, man. About the distortions and all the maps. The problem that he's saying.
No, we don't. Oh, for goodness sakes, we don't know where the real countries are, the places, the locations. We haven't been able to explore where we live. Okay, we're restricted from movement. Okay, so just because your government have said this is where this is where that is, you have no idea or no way of verifying that. When they tell you they're going around south, around the bottom, they're actually going north. Okay, so there's nothing you know about any place on the earth that you can verify unless we see a practical measurement.
People in this room have traveled.
Oh my god! Of course they
all
have.
over the
Who's
world.
done that?
Have you heard of Operation Broken Compass?
Who's done what? Show
Operation
us where they've
Stroganoff.
measured what, Kosho. People in this room. What have they done? I'm the one who's
You
been
heard
out
of,
there, Kosho. You've seen me making measurements to the horizon and over the waters. You've seen me with the tools and the equipment. Who's doing this? What globe earthers are doing this?
Right. Kimo, you don't know where anything is. Why don't you let somebody else talk for a minute?
The other guy
What
told
is Die Slow trying to say about this?
Yeah, I was trying to ask you guys if you heard of Operation Broken Compass.
Tell us more, I guess.
Operation
Not me.
Robitussin?
Go for it.
Yeah, so if you set, if like basically you travel as straight as a crow flies, let's just say we leave the port of Long Beach from the West Coast, California here, and we were to travel straight due west, not using a compass, just traveling straight, heading in a westward fashion. We should either hit Tokyo or we should not. So I think we could put this whole thing to bed if we literally put together a few bucks and just
No,
got
yeah,
a
I would
boat
just go to
and
bed.
travel
He
straight.
went to Tokyo,
You know,
man.
and I brought this up, and you know what the Globers told me? They told me that I'd end up in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, you should.
How would that
Oh,
You
be
absolutely
possible?
would.
Yeah, on a flat Earth, you'd actually run into the ice wall. So
Correct. We would
If
end
you're
up
staying
into a,
straight, you're going to cross the equator in about 6,200 and change.
Mm-hmm.
No matter
So
what.
here's the funny thing is, here's the funny part about this.
Oh boy,
No
there's a
matter
funny
what
part.
direction you head, if you head straight any direction, this is the funny thing is you're going to end up in the southern hemisphere every time. How is this possible on a sphere?
Do you know what the truth about that is?
you do not
This
know
is-
The truth is if you started from the southern hemisphere, you wouldn't keep going south. You would go north. No matter
and
what.
eventually,
Yeah, go.
Is that
ahead,
not
I'm sorry.
grim? Bring your
No,
mic
no,
up,
no.
Die Slow. We can't hear you
I
very
was just
much.
saying a great circle is unless you're on the equator and you're using the equator. If you start off in the north, you're going to end up in the south. If you start from the south, you're going to end up in the north. This is the way it is.
And then
Well,
eventually,
here's the
you
problem. I'm
Die
not in
Slow,
the
your
southern
mic is really
hemisphere.
low. Turn it up.
Why do you
He
keep
said
calling him
from-
grim, Kimo?
I said Die
he said
Slow.
from Southern California. Where was Southern California to where?
Southern California, head west, not using a compass, just head straight as a crow flies.
Are you
That happened
confused?
at the equator.
Yeah, that's not going to follow a line of latitude.
No,
Not
it's
on
not.
a flat Earth or a globe.
Nope.
Google
And
it.
go and
You don't seem to know too much about what you're arguing for here. Maybe this is grim. I don't know. You could be right, Kimo.
The
Not
thing
grim.
is, on a
It sounds to me like you just want everyone traveling in big circles.
What?
yeah, on a flat Earth, if you were south and you traveled west, you would end up further south. Eventually, you should hit the ice wall or something. You should head further south. But as I said, the opposite of what you said, if you start in the south, you're going to end up in the north.
All I'm saying, man, I've never been in this channel before, but if there's any flat earthers in here,
Yes,
man,
you have.
Yeah, for briefly before I got like.
You've been here, dude. You've been here.
Briefly. I might have spent 5 minutes in this room prior to this.
Yeah, you were in here once before.
Not going to quibble about the time. It was longer than that.
But this is the Globe Earther room. There's only a few flat earthers in here. There's me. There's Rakia. Ascent. There's David. There's only like 4.
We don't need to make lists right now.
And there's Merl.
The problem
Merl
is what
also.
he's saying is
And
false.
Essie also.
He
Yes,
doesn't
that's
understand how this
false.
works, KIMO.
Point is, just hear what I'm saying if you're a flat earther, man, because these guys will just try to hand wave everything I say.
Hey, Grim, it's amazing.
And
JJ also.
kind of explained it. I explained it to you. I explained why there's an issue with the flat Earth.
Yeah,
the flat Earth.
you said you would end up in the southern hemisphere. So what if we headed east, or what if we headed northeast?
It would be the same thing. But as I said, if you did the opposite of that on the flat Earth, you would expect that in some situations you would continue south. You would start off south, and you would end up hitting the wall or going further south eventually. But you don't. You end up, if you went all the way around, or you went and try to make a loop, you would end up on the other side. Would be in the north. You did 180 degrees or whatever.
Yeah, leave your sextant and compass at home, man, and just travel straight. See what happens.
What would happen is what we're telling you.
You would hit the
You
ice
go
wall.
to a great circle. Great circle.
Have you not tried this?
You can chuckle, but you're wrong.
That's funny.
So why do you think that that's cool to sit here and chuckle when you have no idea what you're talking about?
You're making an assumption.
No.
What assumption am I making?
Telling me I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I think that's.
You've displayed that you don't know what you're talking about.
All right, buddy.
You gonna crack a skull now? Are you a skull cracker?
Curve, he's not used to this abusive, aggressive tone. You want to have a
Who's being
conversation?
abusive?
The aggressive tone, that's why I included that. So if you want to have a conversation, then
Aggressive
talk
tone.
in a
Oh.
way that he's not
Does
feeling like
somebody
you're
need a diaper
attacking.
change?
Because, yeah, he wants to talk about it. Go ahead, Dicelo.
Nah, I didn't mean to cause a disruption, man. I just want to.
You're not. You're saying very good.
Disruption, man.
The curve.
I am here.
That's how I normally talk.
Manufactures pot, and he makes the worst pot in the world. And that shit is awful.
Extremis, did you want to say something to Die Slow? It looked like it.
I was going to say we didn't make any assumption. He's demonstrated his lack of understanding.
What was the original?
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with people? So let him respond.
KIMO, he's trying to speak. Why won't you let him
Because
speak?
Extremis just asked him a question, then Dicelo went to respond, and then someone else asked another question. Like what you were complaining about the other day, Curve. Why does someone
Trying
ask
to answer,
another
KIMO.
question when a question's just been asked?
KIMO, he's trying to answer. You won't let him.
No, Extremis asked Dicelo a question, and then B-Bot asked a question. The thing you were complaining about the other day.
Just didn't ask a question.
All right, go ahead.
So Extremis, you asked Dicelo a question. You want to say it again so we can...
I did not ask a question. I was responding to his statement that we were making. We were supposing or drawing whatever.
An assumption.
Drawing a conclusion.
Okay.
Yeah, he's basically saying I don't know anything, so I don't know what you want me to say to that other than okay.
Oh, you don't know what
You
you're
don't.
talking
You don't need
about.
to respond, man. Yeah, you probably
Yeah,
won't.
there's nothing for me to say to that, man. That's fine. He can have that.
Well, tell us why you're correct.
I already told you what would be assumed in that we would end up in the southern hemisphere based upon your perception, and I agree with you. We would end up in the southern hemisphere. However, we wouldn't end up in the southern hemisphere on a spherical object rather than a flat plane. So we agree. We just see it a little different. That's all.
Why not?
Why not? What, man?
Why would, if you pointed due west 270 on a sphere from California and you followed that direction, you stay in that plane of travel on the sphere, why would you not do what we're telling you would do.
Yeah, I'm just saying on a sphere, I would agree with you. Sure. Yep. You're right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we're not on a sphere. So the fact that we can
You
both come to
said
the same
both.
conclusion, whether it's flat or it's sphere, whether the fact that we can come to the same conclusion kind of lies the question at hand. And how is this possible, right?
So I got a question. If you point 270 west on whatever you think we live on, and you keep traveling that direction, would you run into your original position?
No, you would never. If it was a flat plane, the only way you would run in your original position would if it was a sphere.
So by that logic, there's multiple North Poles.
No, there's only one north magnetic pole.
Oh, really? That's an interesting hypothesis.
But yeah, Mr. Dyslow, this might help you out. But a great circle, if you know what that is, when you make a straight line on a sphere, it's the biggest. It's always going to be like a big. It's like if you had a ball in front of you, you put a rubber band around it. It would have to go around the longest side of the ball to stay on there. That's what a great circle is going to be. The biggest circle you can make. And if you think about it, if you make the biggest circle you can make on a ball, if you start off on the north side, that circle is going to have to extend to the south side. And so the opposite side of wherever you are is always going to be on the opposite hemisphere.
Okay. I could agree with that.
If it's a ball, that's what he's saying. But if it's a flat plane, these things won't happen. So you need to demonstrate that happens, Kosher, or Mike, or whoever thinks that they will go all the way around.
Well, there's a lot of reports of people circumnavigating the entire planet in airplanes and boats, and not one of them turn around and come back. Let's say they're heading west. They don't go a certain distance and turn around and come back to get to where they were. They continuously stay the same direction and get to the same spot.
Yeah, that's why I implied if you're traveling any direction other than north, man, you're just literally heading in a circular fashion.
So you're saying that all of these people who are traveling in a straight line are actually traveling in a curved line without their knowing? Because if it were to be on a sphere, their straight line would be curved without their knowing. But if it was on a flat surface, they would have to be forced to say, well, we need to turn 1 degree to the right. Well, we need to turn 1 degree to the right. And they would need to say that out loud 360 times without them realizing they're doing it. How does that happen?
Well, one thing you have to realize...
whoa. Hi, Slow. You want to respond?
Did you have something to say? You can say something if you had something
He's
to say.
saying that you return... Say it again, what you said. It's a bit long, but just wrap it up, Mike.
No, I heard what he said. So I don't need you to re-elaborate that for me. But if you had something else to add to that, then go right ahead.
No, he's saying the question is, how are they turning without noticing?
He's being a nice guy. He's letting Sort get in there for a second.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, I withdraw.
All right, so you want me to answer now?
Yeah.
All right, so the fact that they're abiding to that compass, right, tells me that they're traveling in a curved circular fashion. Because if they weren't abiding to that compass and they were keeping their direct heading, they wouldn't necessarily be traveling west anymore, would they?
No, they would be. They literally get in an airplane and they travel the same direction until they get to the end. Now, with the boats, there's no straight line that goes all the way around the planet that I know of, at least. So they will have to, head a little bit south to go through the Panama Canal, and then they'll have to zigzag through the islands and go south of the Indian Ocean. But it's still a westward direction the entire time to get to the same position. At no point do they stop and have to turn 980 degrees and backtrack the way they came to get to the original place.
Again, how can he respond? That's just you assuming.
We also have
the ability to demonstrate that. But I think B-Ball wants to ask him a question.
Now, the real question here becomes, because the further north you go, if you do that 270 and just go straight that way, the further north you go, the more southward that will be. Basically, you know, if you go from, I'm at like 50 degrees north, right? If you start from there, that's going to be very southward in a very short time. If you start closer to the equator, it's going to be less southward. And in fact, on the equator is a straight line. If you go west on the equator and go straight, you're just going to come back where you started. And when you get south, you're going north fairly shortly afterwards. Okay?
I mean, again, that's not really a question.
It's not so much a question as it is clearing up what he's basically saying, and what we are saying is reality of navigating the globe. Now, of course, you know, maybe he could refute it and say, no, it's south of the equator, this and that happens, or at the equator, it is not a straight line. But I'm not hearing that.
Boy, I see Montreal is here. You can explain his skateboard paradox to us all again. That'd be a laugh.
We sort of heard that, and
I think Mr. Dysler was about to respond. So.
Oh, my mistake. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was just saying, guys, I got to get my kids from school. Great conversation, though, and hopefully we can pick up where I left off here.
Hey, man, that'd be cool.
The guys will always be here, and the Globe Earthers. Correct any misunderstandings that we Flat Earthers may have. We're always listening, and we're prepared to test and challenge what they put out.
I appreciate that. And, I just want to say, this room's not as bad as people like to make it
Chris,
out.
let him. He's saying goodbye, man. Let him finish what he's saying.
Yeah, I was just saying goodbye, guys. And this room's not as bad as people try to make it out to be, man. You guys seem pretty respectful. I appreciate that.
That's
you guys
cool.
have a good one, man.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Take care. Absolutely, absolutely. We asked the big questions, and obviously because you guys have this belief, you guys feel compelled to answer them. Not a problem. We can challenge.
Before that guy got here, and he saved you from it, you were just running from the question I was asking you, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, those models and drawings and equations, you know, we really don't get into. All we're looking for from you at that point is just give us the results. Yes. So if you say the results mean it's a globe and the globe is this, just that's all we need, and then we go out there, we test.
The results say it's a globe. Yeah. The results they say it's a globe. So there you go.
What?
It doesn't work on one case. It doesn't work in one case. It works in the other. For it to be a flat plane, that circle that is the equator would have to have a distance to the North Pole, which is much shorter than it actually is. It doesn't work. It does work, though, coincidentally, it being a sphere. It only has to be 1/4.
Yeah, it works on a globe model. Yeah, that's the model you come up with. Yeah?
It's not about models, though, KIMO. It's just about distances and maps and shapes. And you can't make these shapes on a flat map. But
That's
that
the
shape
conclusion,
is perfectly...
and that shape is spherical, and that size is 3959. That means if you're 1 foot, that means the horizon should drop away at a certain distance. That's what it all means. It has more meaning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Case closed, right?
Absolutely. So then when we actually practically try to test what you're saying, this is what that does, we find that the horizon doesn't drop away. It moves to and fro. To fro. So therefore, when we have physical obstruction...
Yes.
What?
Because of refraction, yes.
No. When we have physical obstruction, we can't see the bottom of anything.
Yep.
We once believed...
Horizon isn't physical, though.
We were once under the impression that that's the Earth, physical Earth, obstructing object. But it turns out, after careful observations and studying these things over years, yes, and the horizon is not physical, therefore cannot be calculated Yes, and therefore.
Yeah, because of one anomalous picture. Yeah, got it, man.
No, you haven't got it, because refraction includes the horizon staying in one place. Things beyond it will refract and loom and shrink and shake and shift and all those wonderful things beyond the horizon, not in front of it.
Well, KIMO, how come I can't see 10 miles to the bottom of buildings anytime I go out?
It depends on the day.
Yeah, what day? And what
day? It depends on the time of day also. So you would need maybe a morning, maybe not so, not lots of turbidity, suspended matter, all of those things. And then you should be able to see the bottom of those buildings.
So if I went out, hold on, Leo. If I went out 20 days in a row, right? And maybe 2 days out of the 20
I'm back
days.
in 2 minutes.
Of course. We always get back to this black swan nonsense.
Not answering.
Well, of course you do. It's a perfect example of a useless piece of evidence backed up by a useless argument.
Exactly.
Huey had tried that a few times, though. Remember, he tried that with that model. He had that idea for the model that ended up being Google Maps, and everyone thought it was stupid as hell on Nathan's show. But yeah, I mean, any argument, even the Black Swan's a dumb argument, but people fucking went along with it. So.
If you want to pick something to argue about just for the sake of argument, it doesn't necessarily have to be useful or logical or sensible.
Indeed. Exactly right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
yes, so
okay,
where were we?
So, KIMO, hold on. Wait, Coach.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So KIMO, if I went out 15, 20 days in a row.
Yes.
And on one day I saw maybe 3 or 4 miles farther than I should I just throw out all the rest of the observations and just rely on that one observation to try and prove something?
No, of course not.
So, but that's kind of what you guys do with the black swan.
No, the black swan means something. It doesn't mean that observation. When we say black swan, it means now the horizon anywhere in the world is not physical. It's not geometrical. You cannot calculate. Because we did it again here in England by Wales somewhere. John D. They went out there, okay, here in England, not in America, and he produced what you might call a black swan. So it just means that the horizon is not where it's supposed to be anywhere in the world.
Yeah, because of the conditions on that day, yes. On that specific day and that specific time of day.
No, any time, anywhere, you'll never be able to find the geometrical physical horizon with physical.
That's not true, KIMO.
Show me where
That's
there's
not
physical
true.
obstruction. Okay, where's this physical
Because
obstruction?
every time I go out here in Hawaii, I always see the same thing, same amount of obstruction every single day.
Yes, but we know if you were to record that over a period,
and I have recorded that, KIMO.
If you were to record that over a period, you would have different horizon points at different.
Which I have done, KIMO. Which I have done.
All right, give us a look then.
Why is it you can never see far enough? I mean, that's the real burning question. Is it's always you see too little for flat Earth.
Yeah, we don't see far enough on a flat Earth.
Perspective. How can you see far enough?
I mean,
No,
I should
you
see
can't
farther
see
than
forever,
I
can
could.
you? You only see if the
Certainly
magnification.
will see more than 3 miles to ground level.
If the atmospheric magnification allows you to see further, then you'll get the magnification. But other than that, you've got to
but you
put it
never
down
see
to
far enough.
perspective.
How do you ever have a horizon in front of an object on a flat Earth?
In front of the object. Yes, of course you can.
It's absolutely impossible, KIMO.
Of course it's possible.
You cannot possibly have a hard horizon blocking an object in front of an object if the Earth is flat.
Of
The
course,
horizon
yeah,
always has to be behind every distant object.
we have like the Black
Oh.
Swan in America doing that
Busted.
behind and in front blue.
You know?
Well, again, the physical geometric horizon anywhere in the world. That's why this is such
So
a
you're just
powerful
gonna-
argument.
You're going to avoid that, right?
Go
Kimo?
ahead, bearded devil. Goodness
Yeah.
me, devil.
Yeah, he'll run from
Go
it.
on, devil.
Yeah. If the Earth's flat, nothing, literally nothing,
Nothing
is
what?
going to be behind the horizon.
Behind the horizon. Again, that's your hypothesis. Yes, I understand. And unless you have an experiment like we do,
It's
where we
geometry.
can predict
It's
the
not a matter of it's not a hypothesis. That's just geometry.
No.
Chemo, I'm gonna post a video. Chemo, I'm
Mhm.
gonna post a video, and I want you to go to 128.
Okay. I don't see the video. Oh, okay.
I just posted
Yeah.
it.
Will
Go to
we ever
128.
see the beach? Flat Earthers claim I will. No, nobody makes these claims. Hold on, let's take a look. 125, platform 120. What am I looking at? I see buildings. Okay, yeah. What am I looking at? I see buildings, boats. B-boy, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. Are you still watching?
Yeah, I'm at one. Oh, watch from that point. You're saying, yeah.
Okay, keep watching.
Yeah, and we've got like a bird's eye view or
I go out on multiple days.
Yeah.
And I see the same amount of obstruction.
All right, take it step by step. What am I looking at? What am I looking for?
We're watching. I'm showing multiple videos of the same buildings on multiple days.
Yeah.
The same amount of obstruction.
No. What is this? What you got to do is focus on the horizon and the building. Okay. Let it play. Let it record. Sorry, and then watch it back. You'll see how the horizon is moving all over the place. You only got
Okay, Kimo.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Between me and those buildings, right?
Mhm.
And I've said this before. Between me and those buildings, there is a runway, and there is an island.
You said
Which are
124.
closer to me.
This is 2 minutes something. You mean? Yeah.
No, I just wanted you to start at that point because there's other stuff before that.
Okay, you see where you're showing the buildings at the end? 2 minutes, 3
Yeah.
minutes, right? So if you were to leave your, this is like fantastic, if you were to leave your camera there now over a duration, you would see the bottom of those buildings at some point.
No, that's not true, Kimo.
That is absolutely true, depending on the atmosphere, depending on the
not true.
conditions.
No.
Yes. But you're just not out there.
So you're saying
what?
Okay. So you're saying if I leave my camera there, eventually the horizon is gonna somehow move to the point where I can see the beach in front of those buildings. Is that what you're claiming?
It depends on the conditions, the atmosphere. Absolutely, yes. 100%.
Exactly, it depends. But again, that never happens here because I don't get those conditions here.
Well, again, it depends on where you are, right? But that won't be the same every single day for duration. No chance. If you were to go in the morning, early in the morning, you would see much more of those buildings. Much more.
Are you sure about that, Kimo?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, are you sure about that?
Absolutely.
How are you sure? How are you sure about that?
Because we have
So
the
sure.
Black Swan.
Kimo?
The Black Swan tells us. The Black Swan tells us that the horizon is not physical, not geometrical, not calculatable. So therefore,
Okay, Kimo, real
Yes.
quick. So if I go there in the morning, right?
No,
and I make another
hold on,
video.
whoa, don't
showing
jump,
that
don't get
you can
excited.
see
I'm
the
saying if
exact
you were,
same
hold on,
obstruction,
slow
what are you
down.
gonna say?
No, because you can't just pick one morning and say, look, haha, it was obstructed. I'm just saying we're looking for.
And I guarantee that it's going to look exactly like all the other videos.
You see what I mean? You're not even. You see, you get excited over one morning. Again, over time.
Isn't that what you did with the Black Swan?
KIMO, how can you
Just pick one
possibly
day.
look at this video that B-Ball's done and say that the Earth's flat?
Yeah, because
these buildings can be seen clearly in some of these videos. There's almost no refraction. It's really clear, and you can't see the bottom of them. The Earth clearly is not flat. This is very obvious from this video. There's no possible way anyone could conclude the Earth was flat looking at this video. You just
I know that's we get it. When that's what we were trying to explain, the cause to this effect. So we can replicate this in the laboratory and show buildings on a flat surface that things are obstructed bottom up due to magnification. So again, doesn't surprise us anymore. Not an observed phenomenon because we know the answer.
If it's being magnified, don't you think I should? Don't you think I should see the bottom if it's being magnified? Because I'd be able to see it closer.
Oh, if we were able to remove the magnifying atmospheric lens, which is why I say in the morning it would be less of a lens in effect, so to speak. And if you can reduce that lens in effect,
People, have you ever measured those buildings' angular size? Have you ever actually verified that perspective is working like perspective?
goodness me, Beeblefly, look how much mirroring.
That'd be interesting to do.
Yeah, it would be.
What's the distance, B-Ball? I know it's probably in the video.
It fluctuates between 13 and about 16 miles.
Right.
Now, what you need to do... Hold on, whoa. What you need to do is find out, Beeble, the height and the distance to that horizon, and then we can figure out if the Earth is dropping from that point onwards.
Well, I know it's dropping because, like I said before, which you keep ignoring, between me and some of those buildings, there is a runway and there's an island that I don't see.
Yeah, but we know how this works, is what I'm telling you. So this is not a phenomenon anymore because we know what causes it. Now we're saying to you, if you can measure, if you know your height, so you should know where the horizon should be located at that distance there. You should be able to measure to that location, and then it should be the same every single time. And the buildings should refract up or lower, not the horizon refracting up or lower.
KIMO, would you say that the phrase "the Earth is obviously and observably flat"? Would you say that is incorrect? That phrase.
In this image, it's not observably and obviously flat in this image, and this is why it gives you the illusion, and this is why science will correct a lot of those misconceptions.
But this is a point I've been making for the last week or so. That it used to be that we can see too far. We can see these things on the horizon that we shouldn't be able to see, and that shows us that the Earth is flat. Now we have what seems to be happening here, and what was happening on Brandon's show the other day, is now we have stuff that's very obviously obstructed